peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Viewers and the comrades, the people, the Pan-African people of Africa, and mainly the people of Kenya. Elections in Africa create difficulties. Everywhere in Africa, you find conflicts emanating from elections. Results declared, the loser does not come out to concede. Elections, if not well managed, can trigger the worst crisis for any nation in Africa. It is therefore very prudent for the people of Kenya not to buy populist ideas and forget the hinge point of electoral reforms, electoral injustices, electoral systems, mechanisms that can change Kenya and bring a credible results of an election where the losers and the winner will agree this was a fair contest. Given that circumstances, the circumstances that surround our badly managed elections, Kenya faces this challenge. A referenda of reducing MPs to zero does not solve your problem, because that problem of Kenya is a structural challenge. It's a structural challenge in the sense that the structures themselves give access to more money stolen, to more money hidden, to more money misappropriated by various institutions. Therefore, to have credible electoral reforms, credible electoral systems, credible electoral mechanisms will resolve 1/3 of the Kenya's problems, in that we shall have credible, proportionally elected people who represent all the views of the people of Kenya. That is my take, and that's the take of anybody who looks at the current situation, that any group that would come up and does not discuss the question of elections in Africa and in Kenya as a case study, and use it and look at how many dead bodies do we always collect when we mention the word elections. It is all over Africa. In Uganda, it is happening. In Zimbabwe, as we speak now, they are on the streets of Harare. It's because of elections. They want to come and overthrow and break down everything in Zimbabwe. It's elections. So elections in Africa create conflicts. But how can we stop violence before and after elections? Is through proportional representation of the model of South Africa, which has held elections, but there's peace on the streets of the cities. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, my people of Kenya. That's my message. I stand to be corrected, but I think it is only until you get a proportional representation system that will deliver every part of this country into your house of representation, into your elections, is when stability and tranquility will be permanent forever in this country. Thank you.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is. It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, he is our son and he is our thief.
If you are
Yes.
deviant and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All of you, welcome to Punchline Africa Television, live from the Political Command Center in London. Thank you very much. And live in Nairobi. Good morning, Miriam Ogutu.
A very good morning to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Douglas Karimi, my son, all the way from Meru. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga, and good morning to Miriam, and good morning to our crew in Nairobi, and good morning to all our viewers across the world.
Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for watching us. This program is the diaspora. It is Diplomatic Leaks. As usual with Diplomatic Leaks, we look at critical areas in Africa where conflicts have ravaged, where disease has ravaged, where elections have caused chaos, where turmoil of uprising is real, where George Soros is really making inroads to make a regime change. Diplomatic Leaks, just as like the WikiLeaks, and you are aware, I want to tell you the WikiLeaks now is set to be free, will not go to American jail at all, because he might not get justice. Ours is an investigative piece that looks at Africa. What aids Africa on an investigative line? What is behind the enemy line? What is going on in the Central African Republic? For example, what is going on? The war has ravaged that country for almost 30 years since the death of Emperor Jean Bokassa, the cannibal of Central Africa, the emperor who started eating his own people, just like a General Field Marshal Idi Amin was eating Ugandan people live cannibals. For me, this morning my role is to bring this topic, is to make an overview and listen to the contributions from the panel, which is composed of Douglas Karimi, Javan Karanja, headed by our host or hostess live in Nairobi. Mine is to make an overview and tell the truth of what is taking place in Central African Republic. In case you are faint-hearted or you have a heart that has a problem, you better stay away from these facts because they will shock you. The war in Central Africa is causing quite a lot of problems, and that is the role that I want to say. But I give the chance to Miriam to heighten up because to bring us to speed what took place in the first session of their show about the BBI in Kenya, and look at the clip. As you are aware, Kenya is in the United Nations Security Council. The Kenya has assumed the role of the United Nations Security Council member as a rotational basis for 2 years. It is very imperative, therefore, for us to help Kenya as Sub-Saharan unit, Sub-Saharan research unit, to help this country, Kenya, to assess facts on the ground in most of the Sub-Saharan countries. Miriam, as you are aware, I told you that Sub-Saharan countries, by the end of 2020, Sub-Sahara will have over 14 countries in turmoil. And I think I did not go wrong. You can count for me. The 15th one is about to come in about 9 days. There will be chaos. And I am not a prophet of doom, but I'm a prophet of strategy. I tell you, I see the triggers, I see the what will happen. I warned everybody that some of these things will come to where they are. 14 African countries by 2020 will have upheavals. Some of them violent, some of them peaceful, some of them only tear gas, some of them killing each other, some of them going to the UN International Criminal Court. As you are aware, Nigeria is a candidate for the International Criminal Court. Boko Haram. We have been calling for Boko Haram to be put on a list of wanted terrorists through the judicial means of international law. We have been calling for a long time that Al-Shabaab across international court. Maina in Paris, Ambassador Maina in Paris, come in slowly with switching off your instrument as you listen, please. We have been calling upon the world to come in and sanction some of these terror groups that run around the Great Lakes region, the Sub-Saharan region. Let me leave it for Miriam to open up in Nairobi to ease the pressure so that Ambassador Gaina Maina, Ambassador Maina from Paris, the center of neocolonialism, the center that has subjected Africans to neocolonialism. And I'm glad today you have come and be prepared to be fired. And I'm happy to engage you on a flat out knockout. Thank you very much. Over to you, Miriam, as we reorganize our equipment.
All right, thank you so much. And Ambassador, welcome to the show. And now the President of the Central African Republic, Faustin Archange Touadera, has been re-elected after securing nearly 54% of the votes. The Electoral Commission said the results made a second round unnecessary. Former Prime Minister Anicet George Polugule finished a distant second with just 21% of the votes, while Martin Ziguele finished third with 7% of the votes. There were a total of 16 candidates candidates running for the just concluded elections there. And opposition candidates have said the election was riddled with massive irregularities, and the vote took place despite an offensive by a coalition of armed rebel groups, which left thousands unable to cast their ballots. Now, the government has accused the former President Francois Bozize, who was barred from standing in the poll, of staging an attempted coup. He's denied the allegations but said he supported the rebels. Prosecutors have launched an investigation accusing Mr. Bozize of acts of destabilization and rebellion.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that introduction on the question of Central African Republic. First of all, I don't know where the studio is ready for the clips. I don't know where they have shown them. I don't know, because I can't see from where I am. I don't have all my equipment to see.
Yes, it's okay.
So we can go.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. As you are aware, Kenya is on the United Nations Security Council. It assumed the flag is flying among the 12 countries of the United Nations Security Council. Among them, 5 permanent members, as created by the Geneva Convention, but of the United Nations, that after the Second World War. Africa has struggled to get on the seat. Africa wants a permanent seat, at least 2, to make sure that we, as Africans, are heard properly. As you are aware, there are several conflicts on the African continent that include the one in Cameroon that has never been solved, the one in Nigeria that is causing the insecurity that has affected most of the northern part of Nigeria. It has never been concluded. The Biafran War, the conflict in Libya, the conflict in South Sudan, the conflict in Central African Republic, the conflict in DRC Congo, the conflict in Cote d'Ivoire, the conflict in Burkina Faso, the conflict in Niger, the conflict in Guinea. If you look at all these countries, that's why Maina cannot stand, because he's in Paris. He could be told to leave, because if he talks badly about Paris, these conflicts are all brought about because of one nation, a nation called France. And we should not fear to say it, because telling them will make them correct the mistakes of the past. Telling them will make them change their policy on these nations. It is very important for you to understand that Central African Republic has been bleeding for the last 30 years. Change of government. If there is a place in Africa where French troops have stayed longer, it is in Central African Republic. For the interest, are they for the interests of Central African Republicans? Are they for the interests of the Africans? Are they the native Africans? How many presidents have changed since Bokassa? Bozize was once a president, another one came and overthrew him. He overthrew another one. He now wants to come back. But we shall come back to that later. Mine is an overview of what is happening exactly around that region. Look at the conflict of Mali. Bamako is run off, run in, run out. Now the army took over. There is no more fighting. The French are working with the army. You can see we can never get out of this web of conflict. And until Africa realizes that this web of conflict is what causes their retardation, retarding the economies, retardation of economies, of our economic makeup, money power, is when we can get out as Africans. If we don't, we shall remain slaves, enslaved. We shall remain people called names. Yet we have enough of political money power. Yet we have enough economic money power. DRC Congo, for example, does it have enough money power? doesn't it have enough economic power to feed the whole of Africa? But it borrows money to run its elections. Elections and the conflicts in African countries, they go hand in hand. That's why you see the topic that you are discussing while I was watching, because I told you that my hours and your hours are different. I was watching, I was very impressed with the comments that you people made. I was very, very impressed with the comments that were being made. The comments that were being made by most of the journalists, the panel that was on the show. President Uhuru Kenyatta is struggling to avoid us going the Central African Republic way. President Uhuru Kenyatta is struggling to unite this country of Kenya. And I'm happy that Miriam, you emphasized this in your first show. It is not lost, and it should not be lost, that if you don't do any reforms, that if you go into an election in Kenya with the same electoral commission and the mechanism, you will plunge yourselves in a worse scenario than it was or than it is in some of these countries. That's why President Uhuru Kenyatta, in your first topic, was emphasizing, and will emphasize, and we call upon him not to give up, not to surrender to the darker forces of naysayers, the darker forces. They are not even deeper forces, darker forces of mafiadom. The mafia clans that operate, that eat, that laugh at night, laugh at during the time and eat you at night. All this problem surrounding the BBI is to frustrate and change Kenya into a state of unmanageable proportions, like a Central African Republic. Central African Republic went to elections. There are several forces there. France has been there. The African Union sent in troops. If I tell you, maybe Miriam has a record of how many countries are involved. I don't know whether you have picked it up. Miriam, you give us a clue of the countries. You name some of the countries. Then I will name those you have left out. Yes, over to you, Miriam. Well, if you don't have them, let me begin. The countries, South Africa. One would wonder why South Africa is embedded fully in the Central African Republic. But the reason is very clear. Is to collect the diamonds. You should not be shy to say it this time. 2021 is the truth. It's the truth telling. Karimi, if you don't say the truth, the panel, then you have no room in the kingdom of the truth tellers. South Africa is in Central Africa to collect the diamonds. The share of the loot that France collects. Each day, France has 2 Airbus leaving Paris to land in Bangui. Remember, there are 2 countries that have same names but different spellings, Banjul and Bangui. The capital city of Central African Republic is Bangui. Banjul is the capital city of Gambia. They land in Bangui. What do they carry? They are not tourists. They are not tourists in Central African Republic. Every place in Central African Republic, apart from the city, I've been to Central African Republic in city of Bangui. I went there while I was chasing peace in Uganda. I went there to plead with the president of Central African Republic by then, not to allow the Ugandan rebels to enter Central African Republic, to persuade them with Kisano for them to return on table. So I know the conflict very well. If there is anybody who claims to have known it better than me, let him come up on the show. The number is, you can put it on the screen. We are ready to have a challenge on this, what I'm talking about. And don't, Miriam, in the future, print this number for people to join us. Those who want to join us in this debate, in the debate on diplomatic leaks, or any of your debates, should not shy away, should not criticize you for the sake of criticism. They should come on the debate, and they will find the hot heads like a Karimi, like a Ranja, like a Gidi, and Daniel Wesonga. They are sharpened, and yourself. So don't fear to moderate them. For me, I don't fear, because I have knowledge of rebel activities in the region. I know which rebel, I know how Savimbi was killed, who helped to kill Savimbi. Nobody knows. Some people do say Savimbi was killed, but at least I know how Savimbi was killed. Because I know the crisis, the nexus of the problem of Central East and Central African Republic, the Great Lakes region. And in my conclusion, I will submit to you where the problem is. So, the countries, South Africa, and invited by AU under Zuma, Dlamini Zuma, they went to collect diamonds for Zuma and the family. They have opened an embassy there. But if you ask what South African troops are doing in Central African Republic, what type of peacekeeping they do, nobody can explain to you. But you find the group of Paramount Group, a mercenary fashion house outfit of South African intelligence, in the presence in Bangui. Country number 2, France, is in Central Africa, is a permanent, actually that one has been permanently there. Removing governments, overthrowing governments, changing governments, directing policy. Another country that has been sacked in South African war, in Central African war, is now Rwanda. Rwanda has gone there on the invitation of the United Nations and the African Union. And the United Nations as a protection force. Another country that has gone there now, the current entrant, is Russia. Another country that is in Central African Republic is Chad. That's why Maina cannot come. Ambassador Maina might not be able to come and tell us. The government of Idris, yes, the government is there. There are troops, Chadian troops in Central African Republic. We have South Sudan. Part of the South Sudan, some of them, you remember even Riek Machar had to get a helicopter from Central African Republic to escape when Salva Kiir was chasing him. So there are troops there. Another contingent of troops that are in Central African Republic are the UN peacekeeping forces of MONUC, UNIMID, and others that are surrounded in Darfur. Part of them, they play part. They go and steal these diamonds. They go, yeah, it is a diamond trade. And let's be honest, the bottom line in Central African Republic is diamonds. Because even the rebels, and that I'm mentioning it to you, another group that exists in Central African Republic are the Lord Resistance Army rebels. They exist. They are either with the government of Central African Republic or they are with, they exist. The opposition person of the Central African Republic. Kidi you are sleeping. So they're either on that route or they are with the government. Another component that is in the Central African Republic, Miriam, is Uganda, UPDF, Uganda Army of President General Yoweri Kaguta Tubahura. You know the meaning of Tubahura? Is a person who does not listen to anybody. Tubahura. I will play you a clip. Self-centered. You will never be advised by anybody. From that is the name by the people, guardians who looked after him when he was studying in Intare and Dar es Salaam University. No wonder he has rediscovered this name at the last minute. Uganda People's Defense Forces are in Central African Republic. Another group of a country that is in Central African Republic, DRC Congo. It is actively involved in the diamond trade, in gold trade, and in occupational manner where they have troops either in the border, on the border, or prepared to be deployed at a short notice. Another rebel group is the rebel groups from Congo, DRC Congo, where you get the rebel groups that were commanded by Ntaganda, by Thomas Rubanga, and Abemba. These are in Central African Republic. So if it's a cocktail of these groups, Miriam, a cocktail of these groups and the panel that form currently what we call Central African Republic. The man, the intelligence, the security, the economy, I don't know, the government. So Bozize rebel group has got a boost. And ukweli yuambiwe. Let's talk the truth. UPDF supports Bozize. And Rwanda has been taken there as a protection force. So very soon, it won't be very long before the two finish it up in the Central African Republic. Whoever calculated, it is important for Kenya as a member of the United Nations Security Council to understand the gymnastics and the logistics and the intelligence of the formation of rebel activities that take place in this region. It is important for Kenya as a nation, an island of peace, to understand the functions of a dictatorship, a person who has stood up to muzzle, to stifle all the states around this region up to Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. It is important that the problems that Kenya has in Somalia have roots in Somalia, taking on Uganda as an advisor. Sindio ukweli? This year is for ukweli. Karimu, if you are short-hearted, disappear. Because hii itakuwa ya ukweli. The problem Kenya is facing, stabilizing Somalia, offsprings from Kampala. They have taken over the command in Mogadishu. They give Farimajo extend 1 year. Extend. Good morning, Maina. You are open to listen. Extension. But let's come back. So there will be another diplomatic leak. This is why it is called diplomatic leaks. Because we go behind the diplomatic, where things people don't know. Where even intelligence networks don't have understand. For example, there are very few people who knew that Uganda UPDF is in Central African Republic. On my panel, I think I can see Kidi can show the expression that there is something going on there. Why Uganda? Because Uganda claims to be going in to chase the rebels of the Lord Resistance and the remnants that still operate, which side they have been hired to operate. Hiyo ndio ukweli. Let's know these facts. And the viewers, whoever is listening, must listen. Take notes. It's up to you. I'm not forcing you to take what I'm saying, but the truth is in Bangui. The government in Bangui, that government will not take long. Because the protection force that was sent there, unless we boost, unless UN boosts it with a mandate, that protection force is going to be overrun by the marauding rebels of Bozize. Another rebel group is the former Bemba group. Remember, who was supporting Bemba? You people remember? Bemba got support from Uganda. Bemba was the blue boy of taking over DRC, supported by the Ugandan president. Ugandan troops physically went into Congo to support Bemba against Kabila. So you tell me where we are heading. I'm a great friend of Bemba, and I've sent him a text message to tell him that war of Central African Republic, investigations are going to begin. Should there be any of your traits that you are resurrecting rebel activities, they will take you back to the ICC. So the biggest funder, the biggest supplier, the biggest logistically equipment supplier, logistically money, the biggest beneficiary of all that conflict in Central African Republic, you can guess, is the capital city where Mr. Maina is sitting. And I'm very happy that he's on the panel today. Ambassador Maina will have to tell us what went wrong with his neighbor, Central African Republic. Chad, because of the formation, you know, God is always very faithful. Faithful in the sense he tells you and you don't hear. He creates something, but he creates with different motives. In Chad, he has created two types of people. He has created the Mainas, black, and then he has created the Arab format, the Hissène Habré. You know, if God wants to mix up the countries, that's what he does. In Central Africa, in Chad, Maina, the black, the real man, Maina As, you know, it's part of the Luo and the Bantu axis. You can see how a man from Chad is called Maina, and then you say why. If you go to Nigeria, you will find Maina, one of the richest men in Nigeria is called Maina, on the list of billionaires who has touched money outside. Not him. He might be related by extension. But this is it. So in Chad, we have groups that associate themselves with Central African Republic. They support their brothers in Central African Republic. But we have another group that is supported by France to bring chaos all the time. So viewers, these are some of the facts. If you look at the West, there's Cameroon, which is under fire. Central Africa is a target of all the difficulties that we have in this Africa and AU. It is therefore my opinion, and I want to say, elections that were conducted, will they hold? Will the government in Central Africa hold? Or will it bring a new conflict? I put it to the panel and the medium now to moderators to be able to discuss some of these things. Those are my opening remarks, and welcome back Ambassador Maina, welcome back Kidi Maga, welcome back Douglas Bundi Kirimi, and welcome back Jafan Karanja. Back to Miriam in Nairobi, Kenya, from the command center in London. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right.
I'm here to listen.
Very well. Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga, there for the opening remarks. And we know that Central African Republic, as Doctor has rightly put it there, has been unstable since its independence from France in 1960. It is rich in diamonds, gold, oil, and uranium, but has one of the world's poorest populations. It was plunged into turmoil in 2013 when Muslim rebels from the Seleka umbrella group seized power in the majority Christian country. A band of mostly Christian militias called the Anti-Balaka rose up to counter the Seleka. Seleka handed power to a transitional government in 2014 under international pressure, but months of violence followed. The country was effectively partitioned, and in spite of the presence of the United Nations peacekeeping force and a French mission, the country still continues to be under turmoil now. The ouster of Bozize, that time a Christian, but the mostly Muslim Seleka rebels, unleashed a spiral of violence between Muslim and Christian militias that left thousands dead, and many voters expressed a strong desire for peace when they cast their ballots. And as we've seen right now in the just concluded elections, insecurity halted voting in about 2,115 polling stations, preventing over 621,000 voters from voting, and that accounts for about a third of the electorate there. That is according to the recent statistics on the just concluded elections there. So about 2,115 polling stations did not open up for the voters in the Central African Republic, especially in those areas of the opposition stronghold, to cast their ballots. So just judging from this, 621,000 voters were not able to participate in this voting due to insecurities. Douglas Kirimi, should this not be grounds enough to nullify these elections?
Thank you, Miriam, and thank you to Dr. Masanga for that perspective on Central African Republic. What I think is, in as much as the conflict today is fueled by Francois Bozize and his friends, and also his supporters, I think the people of Central Republic deserved an opportunity, deserved a time that they could go to the ballot and elect their own leaders, because as you can see now, people have not been able to vote. And remember, the anti-Baraka forces and also Bozize and his friends have been threatening people that they should not go out and vote by 27th of December 2020 last year. When these people were threatening the masses not to go out and vote, they were subverting the will of the people. So, and when the government and also the opposition and also their forces were preventing these people from going to vote, because I also believe the government participated in preventing the people from going to vote, they subverted the will of the people. The government was also afraid of the will of the people, and also the opposition was afraid of the will of the people. I think this election needs to be annulled and also be called off, because at the end of the day, we cannot have an election where majority of the population have not been able to cast their votes. No matter who funds who and no matter who speaks for who, at this juncture, Central African Republic deserves an opportunity to be able to vote and also select their own leaders at the ballot without interference of being stopped by forces and also by people who don't want the people of Central Africa voting. Remember, who are suffering today are women and girls who are being raped, and also school-going children who are being displaced because of this violence between 2 or 3 people who want power for themselves in Central Republic. Remember, there are so many forces, like Dr. Masanga has given us a perspective, who are fueling the conflict in Central Africa Republic. They can continue their negotiations and also their other activities, not necessarily subverting the will of the people of Central Africa. I think the only way to redeem Central Africa Republic now is that the UN needs to be able to call off, they need to also call off their remarks when they said there were no claims of rigging. There could have been no rigging, but people have been prevented from voting in this election medium, and people have been stopped from exercising their democratic rights. So I think at this juncture, the world and also people of goodwill in the world should be able to come together and also call off the election that has happened in Central Africa Republic, because we cannot have an election where a small percentage of the population have been able to participate and others have been prevented from voting. Miriam, no matter who is running for what and who is in opposition, at this juncture, the people of Central Africa, they served an opportunity where they could go to the ballot and vote for the people that they would have wanted as president of their country, as their members of parliament. And remember, majority of these people have not voted. They're in the bush. They have been pushed away by people who are self-centered and people who want power for themselves. This issue of Central Africa, the UN needs to come and stamp their authority and also stamp their feet down to the ground and let the people of Central Africa Republic have an opportunity to vote for the people that they want in power. And another thing before I conclude, the issue of the rebels, Bozize, what he is doing he has been a president of Central Africa. What he is doing with his anti-Baraka forces is wrong. Raping of children and young girls and women, and also displacement of children and population in some cities and also some towns in Central Africa Republic is wrong, and they should stop, as they also seek on ways that people of Central Africa can be able to participate in a more democratic and a more fair and free election, Miriam. I submit.
All right, very well. And remember, on December 30th, a coalition group called for the election to be cancelled because they said a third of the voters were unable to cast their ballot because of the insecurity. The Democratic Opposition Coalition said the presidential and legislative elections were not fair and inclusive and are in no way the expression of the will of the people. The group condemned an electoral farce, claiming widespread ballot stuffing and a lack of observers in some areas, of course, due to the insecurity that has been brought about by the increased and intensified militant activities there in the Central African Republic, especially in the opposition areas there, and a lot that have a lot of support for Bozize. And this came after the courts there stopped him, the Electoral Commission stopped him from running in this last year's elections, and that is where also we saw the chaos also they intensify towards the elections that happened a couple of days ago there. Ambassador Egana Maina, welcome to the show and thank you so much for joining us. What do you make up of all of this happening there in the Central African Republic, and should the elections be nullified, seeing that a third of the population did not get an opportunity to vote?
Thank you, Miriam. Happy New Year to all. I believe this 2020 can bring change now in Africa because we have complained almost for 70 years.
2021, and Happy New Year to you, Ambassador.
Yeah, 2021. I just wake up. So let me, when we talk about Central African Republic, it's a very complex situation. It's good for us to see that there is a chaos there, but do we know that where is the sickness coming from? This is the situation. I don't know if there is one person amongst you guys who has been colonized by French. I think it's me in the panel, right? Let me explain to you what is the system those colonizers has hold those back that we cannot move. I've been in India. I was experimenting the simple things that will wake me up. When you go to India, you see the big elephant bed with they tied it with a small rope, and they tie the elephant on a chair. But the elephant cannot move. It took me almost 10 years to find out why. So when I went to ask the wise people, they tell me, let me explain to you the strategy. When the elephant was born, they tied the elephant with a big chain on a big tree that the elephant will do everything, but it can't go nowhere. The more the elephant is growing, the more they are reducing the coach, and the more elephant has been brainwashed, but you are not going nowhere. So it's no way to fight. You don't need to kill yourself. So the elephant surrender. That's why you see now in India, they can tie an elephant with a small rope, but nothing is moving. This has been exactly how these white people play the game to hold us back. If it has been seen, we have been talking for 60 years. How many proper action have been taken in Africa to make sure this thing can change? Few. Why? Because this brainwash is still there that anytime you want to take an action, you put on your mind that is not possible. Take an example, Central African Republic is a rich country. Congo, DRC, they are very rich. In their own mind, they think they are rich, right? But they are not. Do you think that we African, we need gold and diamond? Miriam, if I give you gold, and what are you going to do with it now? You are going to find Western people to go and sell this diamond. No African person is buying diamond. Cindy, is there any African country you know that need to buy your oil or your bauxite or anything? Nobody needs it. So why are we not stand to sit down to first of all to start working our mind, find a way that we can think and change the strategy of our life and our country instead of also blaming these Western people? Okay, they have done their damage. We recognize it, but why not put it on the side? They say in my language in Chad, if I want to be your friend or we want to do business, I just need to spend a day with you at your house. Simple. The moment I come your home, I will understand how you are organized, how disciplined, how serious with your family. That is define exactly who you are. Miriam, we are not even able to run simple things, but we are talking about countries. That's why you say we are going chaos into chaos into chaos. Like I give you the house full of gold, but I did not give you the key how to open the door. You are hitting your whole head now to break the wall. You want to get in to take this gold. You are on yourself. Last time in the panel, I tell you, did we need election in Africa? You guys say yes. What for? Is election is resolving problem with Africa? No. We have real problem that we need first to come to sit as African to see what is the way forward, but we have never done it. Is UN come and be between me and you, Miriam? We need UN to come and be. We are neighbors. We grown up. We was born in the same villages. We are neighbors, but you have to bring someone from Western countries to be in the middle that me and you will fight. Are we intelligent? We don't need to accuse Chad or any Rwanda, whatever. Me, I'm going to the root of the problem. Something has not been done right in Central Africa. That's why you see people are doing it.
And what is that thing, Ambassador, that you think has not been done right? That is the root
Thank
cause
you.
of
That's
the
what I'm
chaos.
telling you. The Central African people has not even discovered exactly what is their purpose, what is their main goal as a nation, what did they want. So if you don't know what you want, Miriam, I will come between you and your husband. Simple as ABC. We are talking about election. People has not been president. Let's take example of President Bozize. You know, in life, if you has been in your whole life, you are not being relevant. You always try to fight back to prove people that you have done something, but it's not working. Either you are a leader, either you are a family man. Imagine if I'm a family man, I'm the husband, but I have not been able, to meet the needs of my family. Always I will fight my wife and my kids. Just to prove this ego, to bury it, That is how our majority of our leaders, they was not relevant. So this thing is haunting them. They are ready to create all the chaos. Now it's up to us to understand exactly what these people want from us. How can we go about it? Do you think that if Central African Republic now, the population, they come together, they say, we don't need Bozize, we don't need Touadera, we don't need any leaders now, we need a new one. It's not going to happen. It will. Am I right or wrong, Miriam? When Mali people decide that someone Ibeka is less than 1 hour, he is out of power. When they decide they don't want the former president, in 1 hour, he was out. When the Burkina people said they don't want the former president, he was out. So it means something is wrong with the population. Let us not judge even the Western people. If we decide we don't want you, Miriam, today, you are not going to stay there. We just come together. We say we don't need you. You are not useful for us. We give the proof and you will leave. We don't need to fight. If you see people are fighting, so they don't have any agenda.
But
Now,
Ambassador, a lot of times,
ahead,
even these coups that we've seen happen in this continent, as much as sometimes they're internal, but there has been, we cannot exclude the outside forces, the external forces that usually have a hand when you look through all these coups that have been happening in. So even in Central African Republic, surely we cannot dismiss a possibility of an external factor. And Dr. Matsanga laid a few the countries that have a lot of invested interest in the Central African Republic. So as much as a person in the Central African Republic is tired of whatever is happening, but sometimes they don't have the capacity to demand, because all the external forces a lot of times are more powerful than the will of the people in that country.
So what is the external forces want from Central African Republic?
A
Mineral
lot of
resources.
interest.
At the end of the day, we all agree. Dr. Matsanga agree with me, right?
Yeah. So it's
France
not
or
very
whoever
simple.
They want mineral resources. They want diamond, gold, or anything else. They want something from this country. But 70% of these mineral resources, they are not even useful for us Africans, because we don't have anything here. For now, let us agree that we don't need it. Because if we have intelligence, let's take a country like Korea. So what South Korea have? They have just a thin one. They are one of the most powerful countries in the world. What Japan have? What Singapore have? What Malaysia have? They don't have nothing, but they have this. If we have science and technology, we know what we want. Those things are not useful for us. We are going to go even to China to find something better to bring in Africa. But now, these Western countries, you say they need something from here. They need diamond, gold, whatever they are fighting for. Granted. Do you think that if we give them all, they are not going to live on in peace? No. Our problem is we don't even have our plan and agenda. I tell you that the agenda was wrong from the beginning because they tied off with the heavy rope. That is the point.
I think, Miriam, can I intervene for 1 minute?
Go ahead, Doctor.
I agree with my comrade when he started his opening speech. I was very happy. In fact, I've not seen him for a long time. Thank you very much. The only problem is that you are wearing a yellow cap. I don't know whether you are in Kampala supporting NRM, but we wish you good luck. Yes, because that is one of the things. Is it yellow? I don't understand you at times, but it's okay. Now, you did it intentionally to provoke, but it is all right. It's understood. You started very well. What is the problem? You even laid your ground about the colonizer. Who is the beneficiary? There is no African who manufactures anything out of the diamond.
Thank you.
Show me one diamond factory in Africa which manufactures diamond rings. We steal these diamonds on behalf of these people. South Africa, Uganda, all these countries that are in Central African Republic, they are stealing these diamonds on behalf of bringing them, then put a certificate to export to Dubai. They don't have a factory that is making jobs. So I agree with Maina for the first time in centuries that our mindset, Miriam, we Africans have very dangerous mindsets. Until we change. Maina talked about removing, you agree and remove people. How shall we remove? Look at where you are, wherever you are, you might. Today I know even now, I can now assume you are in Kampala. An election was conducted. 2,500 in Central African polling stations were deliberately, Maina, were deliberately not open. Can I even shock you that Uganda held the election in 2016? Some polling material and the boxes have never arrived in one of the locations in Kampala up to today. And yet they are only 5 kilometers away from the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. Now, how will you remove the bad leadership, as you said? Because you said, no, it was Karimi who said, we remove them. You can't. Because the same power that wants the diamond gives you the equipment. You actually muzzle everybody. But the point that Maina has made, which I agree with, and I take this as 2021, very good year. In fact, for the first time, we have agreed on something on this show with you. Because I usually don't agree with some of your things. Because in Chad itself, you have an oppressor who directs your foreign policy. Yes. Yes. President Idris cannot work without French. Your brother in AU next door who looks like you exactly is your cousin brother. He cannot even say a word because he won't walk the streets. He will be given an embargo. he will be told, don't come. Dr. Muhammad Faki is quiet. Look at the Ugandan situation. Look at the election in Central African Republic. What statement? Go to the AU website. Look at the statement they have issued on Central African Republic. It's like a water that the crocodile cannot drink. Have you seen the water that the crocodile? You know that the crocodile is very careful. You know why it survives? It survives because it doesn't drink dirty water. Did you know that? It can come and wash in the mud, but I don't know whether people on the panel know. You better know it, Miriam. But it does not take any of that water. The cleanest part of a crocodile is the inside of its bladder. The water is pure. It goes back. That's why a crocodile, once it picks you, it has to take you back to the main clean water so that it can swallow, the air comes out with clean water. Not that if it did, stones will be in the bladder, it will collapse. It won't be able to catch you. We have a problem. I agree with Maina. We have a very bad mindset. As Africans, we now collect these diamonds on behalf of the superpowers. Then we call them to come and, oh, let's meet in Dubai. I have a consignment. Is there an African selling another African a consignment? And you asked a very good question. If we gave Miriam the diamond, what will Miriam do with it?
She will take it to Dubai, to Switzerland, or to Belgium.
If you gave Miriam diamond this morning, the following
she will bring it to me here in Europe.
She will ask
she will bring it to me in Europe.
Yes, she will ask for me. She will contact.
I'll look for a cartel.
Maina.
All right.
In Paris to deliver them. Because she doesn't know, as Africans, we have not created an industry
Value
that benefits us.
We don't have the value addition.
Yes. That takes away our work. That's my intervention. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much, Kidi. Our elections just concluded there in Central African Republic, and the latest this morning is that the incumbent president, Faustin Todore, has been re-elected after securing nearly 54% of the votes that were cast, having in mind about 2,115 polling stations were not, voting was halted, and so denying an opportunity for over 621,000 voters to vote, a third of the electorate. Should that not be reason enough as a lawyer to just nullify the whole process?
Miriam, Kidi has gone.
Oh, Kidi has gone. Let's go then to Javan.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. And as I was listening to the conversation, Maina and Dr. David Masanga, and I would like also to agree with some of the statements made by Maina, that Miriam, we have a problem in the way we think and the way we do things as Africans. And when the colonizers came, they realized that we had a very strong mechanism and our political organization. And when you go down in the history, the social and political and economic organization of our people, even before the Europeans came to colonize us, was very strong. And one thing that they did is to scrabble and divide us and to erode all those cultural beliefs and those kind of forms of governance, so that we become weak. And from that time, that is why we can't think beyond what our colonizers did to us, because they eroded all the gains that we did. And Miriam, when you look even to the community like where I come from, we had our own ways of doing things. We had the chiefs, we had the kingdoms, like in the Uganda, we had the Buganda kingdoms. And these things, they governed their people well, and with no elections, with no going to the queues to vote or ballot, but things were running smoothly and effectively. Therefore, these things of elections in Africa, to some extent, we have just copy-pasted them from the European nations, and they are not working for us. And because Miriam time has surpassed us, what we can do is to better our electoral systems, because we cannot go back to the kingdomship and chiefdoms times, is to better our elections and to have enlightened voters who can make wiser decisions on the ballot. And then we came to, after independence, we have the political elites who took everything, and they took Africans and they started, they made themselves strong. And to them, they used the tribal, like in this country called in Kenya, they used the communities and the tribe to divide these people so that they become weak. Because the point why most politicians ride on the tribes and ethnic mobilization is because when you use that, you bring these people weak. They cannot unite with other people, with other communities, with other tribes to form a force that can push out a bad regime. That is why it is difficult today, even in a country like Kenya, when corruption is rampant. It's difficult for Kenyans across the country to feel the pain, to have the emotional strength to force these leaders out of the power, because you're told, you as a Kikuyu, you don't have a right to point a finger to your fellow Kikuyu. You don't have a right to point a finger from a leader who is the Luo, and maybe you come from that tribe. Therefore, this moral and erosion is what is causing Africans to be weak. They cannot stand for anything. They can be misused. And that is exactly what is happening in the Central African Republic, where these political rights are dividing those people who are hunters, those people who are farmers. They cannot unite for a common cause to force a bad regime out of power. That is why they are dividing them across Muslims and Christians, because it is easy to govern them, because when you divide this nation, they become weak. And when you look at the colonizers, they used in Africa, they used the scrabble and partition. They partitioned Africa into smaller units because it's easy to govern them. And this mentality has been there, that Africans are weak and we must rely on foreign aids if to be strong. That is why even when you go across these African countries, we depend on aids. We cannot even feed our countries. And we have all what it takes. We have fertile soils, but we are still people dying of starvation. That is something that cannot be solved by Europeans. That is something that can be solved by Africans. And that will happen if we have enlightened people, enlightened voters, and we check on even into our education system. We need to have an education system that cultivate the critical thinking, rather than this education that emphasizes on grades and passing on your examinations. That is why we have graduates who can't think, and you'll hear them in the street saying that they cannot make a comment on the politics because it's a dirty game, and it's a game that is left for those people who don't have a reputable character. Those people who feel in their mind that they are clean, they cannot engage on politics. That is why we end up having bad leaders who come and misuse even the best brains in this country. Therefore, we need to change our mindset. We need to change how we do things so that we have a better Africa and an Africa that stands for its own. That will only happen if we unite together and we avoid to be divided by political elites, by our colonizers, and we have a mentality that we are all African. And by matter of coming from Kenya or Chad or any other country, we are all one and we suffer from the same problems. And this community should not be used to divide us. We should all rise as Black Africans, as white Africans, and champion for a common purpose of having a great Africa that works for all of us. Thank you.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. Very well stated there, Jevan Karanja from Nanyuki. Now, Douglas, Francois Bozize is a very divisive figure when it comes to the politics there in the Central African Republic and the instability that the country has seen since its independence, and a lot of it, Bozize has contributed to that insecurity. He's led several coups, and I'll take us through in a short while. And he's still insisting to want to be very active in the politics of the Central African Republic. He's fled the country twice and came back, in 2019. And now, of course, he was barred from going there. And the rebels we've seen there, we have been fighting. Who he's backing up? Those are people who are fighting on his behalf. Why does, especially here in the continent, you already know you're not perhaps good for the people, but you still insist, I have to be there, I have to do it, I have to lead these people, I have to be part of it. And yet, you're not bringing good tidings to the people. When do we, is it the lack of patriotism for our countries, as we've seen across the continent? When is enough become enough, do we have leaders who have, the kind of thinking that, what, for the sake of my country, maybe it's better off if I backed away?
Thank you, Miriam. That question is profound, and that question strikes the chord of most of our African leaders. Remember, we had a leader who used to wear white robes in Gambia and carrying the Bible and curing HIV and AIDS. His name was Jamea. And he used to say that he has been sent by God in the Gambia.
Miriam, Quran.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Masanga. He used to carry Quran.
Yes.
And used to wear white robes, telling people that he's been sent by God to solve the problems of Gambians and Africans. But remember, Miriam, most of these leaders, and I've said this before, and I will stand with my words, most of these leaders are not in any way representing Africans. They don't represent their country's interest. They are not patriotic. The Bozize of 2003 and 2013 and the many things that he has been doing, nobody enjoys what has been happening in Central African Republic for over 30 years. I'm 28 years old today, and when I was growing up, and the only radio station was KBC, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, we would only hear chaos in Central African Republic. Today, I'm a man with my own beard and own education, and I can think for myself. I still have problems. I still hear people in Central African Republic. Bozize is still in Central African Republic. We are having problems. We don't want, as Africans, we don't want these people of this kind of leaders, but they think they're the best thing that happened to us after the Straits branch. What these leaders need to understand is that Africa is also tired of them. Remember, Miriam, when these people force themselves even through the ballot and steal elections, kill people, rape children, rape girls and women, and also displace people. Today, people in the bush in Central African Republic, is that what Bozize wants? Anti-Baraka forces, which are funded by Bozize and his friends from the West, are in the bush. Is that what Bozize wants for Africa and also Central African Republic? There are no people in Central African Republic who would want to be battled into the bush, and also their women and young girls be raped by Bozize powers for him to remain in power. And also, we need to be very candid this year. Dr. Masanga said this year is the year of the truth. We need to tell the powers that be, if they need to do anything else, they should forget about Bozize of this world. Because at the end of the day, people are tired. Women and young girls are being raped by these anti-Baraka forces. Central Africa does not deserve Bozize. Bozize was a president for so many years. As I was growing up, Bozizé was president. Until today, the old man is giving problems to Central African Republic. Miriam, I think these people have no sense of duty and also patriotic.
Karim, we have very many across the continent.
Yes,
I think
do.
you grew up when you are hearing some of them, they are still here.
Yes, Dr. Masanga, people like Phobia.
You know, this is a year of the truth. Some of them are here, and they even still want more. Paul Robia.
And that's where Bozizé ran to the first time.
Look at Paul Robia.
Yes.
He's coming to 40 years in power. You know, I always hesitate to talk about my nemesis across the bridge because people will think I am talking using his television station from London to talk about him. I will leave him for the younger boy.
I'll talk
him out.
Doctor, I have no problem talking about him, so don't worry. I'll do that for you.
Yes, you do that because for me, Maina, whether Maina is dressed up in yellow and today to annoy me.
Maybe it is
right.
his favorite color. Maybe he felt like sunshine and he felt he would just be bright. So
yeah, he must be in Kampala. He's not in
he's in Europe. He said he's in Europe. So I'll
in Europe, it is winter now.
They have heaters in the houses.
You see, he's there. So,
Doctor, they have heaters over there.
Your point, Karimu, finish your point. Yes. It is true. They are here. But Paul Robia is here. He has been there for 40 years with his wife who buys a wig for $1 million. 1 wig of hair. $1 million would build how many schools?
A lot.
How many dispensaries?
In Anglophone region especially. It will go a long way.
Then you go to this is we have a bad mindset. We are finished. But this one across the bridge, the younger guy is playing music nice. You know, you give the baton to some other people. Don't stick there. You know, Miriam, let me take this opportunity before I lose my point. There are people condemning me. Some of the younger men of Mr. Karimi and Karanja who are on Facebook, especially those who are aligned to Ruto in your country. Oh, Matanga, go home and fight. I am the one who started a fight. 1982. I've been fighting this guy since then. Do you want me to continue? No. You give a baton to Karimi. You teach Karimi. You teach Karimi how to fish. And tell him when I'm gone, go and fish. I have taught people. And let it come. Whether we are defeated on 14th, the struggle begins from there. It is from there. You no longer have the energy anymore to frustrate us. Mark, those are a few words that are, let me not turn this into very serious. That time is coming. The energy is gone. You will not defeat us. Look, this is it. Don't stick on power. Then you are calling people they have stuck on power. Give the baton to relay. Don't give it like Uhuru Kenyatta gave it to Ruto. Ruto ran backwards. You remember? My people have given the baton in Uganda. They have not run backwards. Hey, there is real dance. Real good dance. Even Maina knows there is a good dance. Unless you just steal and throw the votes in Lake Victoria. There is real good scientific dance. So thank you very much. I just wanted to bring that point to Karimi. That we cannot do any much. We have surrendered the baton to you.
Doctor, Karimi is a girl. It's Kirimi.
Kirimi, yes, you. I will call my son Douglas.
Let's just call him Douglas. He corrected me one time. I also confused the two. Said he's not a girl, and I agree. All right, very well. So as we conclude today.
So, Miriam.
Yes, go ahead, conclude your
Miriam.
thoughts. Yes.
let me conclude my point.
Yes.
People like Museveni, who have been appointing his wife as the Minister for Education in Uganda, Dr. Masanga cannot keep fighting since 19. Let me take this opportunity for a minute and answer those people who insult Dr. Masanga every morning. This Dr. Masanga has been fighting since 1981 in Uganda. When he was a youth, he was fighting. Today, maybe about 14 years before I was born, Dr. Masanga was in the bush fighting Museveni. Those young people of my generation and some younger than me are talking about Dr. Masanga going to Uganda to fight. How do they want a 65-year-old man to fight when people like Bobby Wine and others like myself and Javan Karanja of this world are younger to go into the bush and fight the old man? We can no longer continue having an Africa where Bozizem, Museveni, Paul Biya, and Idris of Chad, where Ambassador Maina comes from, all the people refusing to leave power. We cannot have those people. I wish those people are in Kenya, because at the end of the day, we cannot keep talking about Dr. Masanga going to fight a man that was fighting in 1982. These all the people should leave power. They should leave power and go home. Because
78.
Yes, they should leave power and go. In Central Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dr.
Miriam,
Masanga.
can I say something?
No.
Can I say something, Miriam?
I was only complimenting you that the guy.
Can I say something, Miriam?
Yes. Yes. Come on,
Miriam,
Ambassador.
Thank you, Dr. Masanga.
All right, Ambassador has
My
something.
question, I'm asking
We can no longer continue.
Ambassador has a rebuttal. Can he respond to that, and then we'll come back?
I want to ask a question to Dr. Masanga and Mr. Douglas.
Mm.
Do you people believe that the fact that these people stay long in power, that this is the cause of the problem of Africa? Do we believe that?
I think they're staying longer in power
Yes,
comes
they are
from
the
bad
problem.
leadership and poor governance, and so that is the
Oh,
problem.
okay.
No, very huge problem that Ambassador
Granted.
Maina.
No.
Yes, granted. I'm coming.
Yes,
I'm coming. Of course, you ask question. So, the situation, how come you fight somebody for 28 years? 28 years is a lifespan of in Africa is now the life expectancy is just 55 years. So half of your life you spend fighting somebody. He did not let the power. You did not go back to strategize to ask yourself, is that my fighting is helping this guy to move forward or backward? Is that my fight is changing something, yes or not? We never ask ourselves, because I always telling in the panel, when I come to a platform, I say, I will never be part of the blame game. I will want to be part of the diagnosis. I want to know what is the sickness. No, leave solution. If you don't know your sickness, where are you getting the solution?
Okay.
Always, what I have discovered in this world with the little experience I have, the little
Where is
experience,
our
when you
sickness?
see a leader
Let's
in...
come to the point.
I'm coming.
We are burning
I'm
with
explaining.
answers.
Our sickness. That's why I want us to understand our vlogs today. If you arrive in a community, you see a leader of this community, however this leader is behaving in this community, he is exactly the copy of his people. You can't be an integrity person lead by a useless leader. That's not true, my dear. Let us not run away. If President Paul Biya stayed 40 years in power, because he deserved to be the president of Cameroonian. There is no better Cameroonian president than him. That's why he stayed 30-something, almost 40. You cannot tell me 40 years we don't have these people.
No.
I am coming. I don't want you to be, we are not here to argue. I don't want you to be agree with me or not. This is the fact of life. Wherever you go, when you see a leader is the copy of his people. Simple as ABC. If you have a company today, you are an integrity man, all your stuff, you respect them, you give them what they deserve. No one will be out of your system. But if you are a fake to go and talk to this guy, you see that my director is a liar. Your company will be as useless as possible as you are, because everybody will play your game.
Ambassador, you're saying we get the leaders we deserve. Is that what you're saying?
God bless you. I'm coming. Let me finish. If you go to church, it's the same thing. But now, the situation, we need us to understand it. There is a law on nature, they call it the law of premature success. It happened even in your country, in Kenya. If you fight your way to be in a place that you don't belong to, God will bring you back. Nature will bring you back. It happened to your country. Some people manage their way with politics, they be somewhere, but they was not ready to run. They get back to zero. Am I right or wrong? That is in your country in Kenya. It happened in Cameroon, in Chad. Sometimes when you see things are not moving for us African, we went so far that we did not deserve. Democracy was not for Africans. Election was not for us. Now let us go back to Central African Republic where we see the panel today. The 2,300 polling station that Mariam, we claim that they has not been operated. Some of the people, Central African, don't even know where they are because there is not even roads. Can you imagine in 2020?
Ambassador, I'm not claiming. Those are the facts. It's not a claim.
Can you believe that? Let me give you an example. In 2020, after 60 years of independence in Kenya, but there is a county that you cannot drive your car to get there. How are you going to run these people? How are you going to be their leader?
They're fixing that. Get there. They're fixing that right now. They're working on the infrastructure.
I'm not talking about, I'm giving you the example of Central African Republic. There is some cities that you can go only by foot or by motorbike, Mariam. There is no communication, no power, nothing. We are jumping to election inside to go and fix those basic things. This is the problem we are having. We leave our own problem to see election was not for us. So imagine some people in South Africa, they was not even aware there is an election. Can you believe that? Because there is no TV, no light, nothing.
But these ones, the poll stations, the polling was halted.
Ambassador Maina, something, Miriam. Let me ask him a question.
Maybe
how do we continue? Yes, how do we continue saying that we deserve these bad people like Paul Biya, General Museveni, Bozize, when they are supported by the West, where you are sitting in Paris today, they are funding these Bozizes of this world, and they are funding all these people, and they are putting them in power. And you are telling us we deserve these bad people. You are telling us we deserve phobia in Cameroon so that they can continue butchering Amazonia. You are telling us we deserve Bozize so that he can continue with the anti-Baraka, so that he can continue butchering people of Central Africa. We don't deserve these people. The West is forcing these people on us.
Let me answer you.
Okay.
Let me answer you.
I'd like Javen to come in.
1 second, Ambassador. Dr. Masanga, give me 1 minute.
Okay. Make it short so that we have also Javen to come in.
Yeah, yes. There is two things. You know, the debate is helping us to understand the reality where we are going.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
We all agree. The situation, I want Mr. Douglas to understand that there is two ways to see things in life. You can see things with sympathy, that the way you are doing, and you can see things with empathy, understand why this thing happening, but you are not taking any emotion. What is killing us in Africa, we are using too much of our emotion to judge things. The situation as he was born, before he was born, Mr. Douglas was in power. Ask yourself how he is manipulating himself to be there. You try to find out. You said the Western is helping him. Why? Because they need this diamond. Senior. That's why they are backing it up. Yes. They need these mineral resources. But the mineral resources, me and you now, our generation find out they are not useful for us. We need our head, our science. Why not go back to work to use it? And after this, make these people useless. In order to make an idea useless, you have to bring a new idea. But you are not bringing a new idea. You are fighting this one. The more you fight it, the more you make it more powerful. Fighting a system is not going to dismantle the system. You are going to a new strategy.
Yeah. So, Ambassador, what you're saying is we're fighting, but we're not offering an alternative.
Someone brings one, the whole country is blowing up. We are not fighting. We are wasting our energy even.
Okay.
Fighting who? If you fight someone for 38 years, he's here. So are you winning or you are losing, Miriam?
Yes. So what you're also saying...
We need to go back to resources to find exactly. What I'm saying, in life, when we have to understand, there are three people. The intelligent, the strategic, and the wise. The intelligent people, they just talk. They don't have any action. The strategic people, they act. But the wise people, they just watch and they see where is the failure and they hit on it. Now, what game do we want to play with this generation? Are we going to waste our time just to be intelligent, talking, or we want to sit down as a wise people, see where is the loophole that we can key in now to fix it?
All right.
Because Paul Biya has run us for 38 years. Idris Deby is 20-something.
And Nguema in Equatorial Guinea has been there for 40 years, yes. And his son is the vice president also.
More than 20-something.
Yes.
And he's running maybe for the next 5 years.
Ambassador, we
Yes, sir.
let me answer you.
Thank you. Okay.
Some of us have given our baton to the younger generation because we reassessed. You reassess yourself, critique yourself. I grew up in Nyerere Empire. Self-criticism. If we failed the other week, why do we continue to do the same thing this week? Therefore, you leave it. I agree with you. We did it.
Find the loophole.
We need to reassess ourselves. But we are reassessing only people who have entrenched. They have entrenched themselves using the Western powers. For example, in the region today, President Museveni is the man who supplies the army to every hotbed corner of Africa. He's created many armies, sections of army. The one he can give to you, to Muhammad. If you disagree with Idris, your brother will be given a section to go and guard you. Another one, 10 sections. So Americans, these big powers, gave him support. He entrenched himself. He's the muscle man of Great Lakes region in terms of military. And he tells you, he doesn't hide. Did you hear his speech on Saturday? When he said about the man who was killed, the boxer, he said, yes, my people killed him. And we are very sorry we killed him. It is a misunderstanding, we killed him. My special forces that I've brought from Mogadishu, those Mogadishu and Congo, who know, what do they know? To butcher. That's what he said. So if you don't, Buana, if you don't have the spine, I'm lucky you are in yellow today. Maybe you have, someone has convinced you. You never know, I don't know.
Doctor, Uganda and Somalia, there seems to be having an exchange program because I know I say it and we laughed about it. The Ugandan Electoral Commission is training the Somali Electoral Commission how to conduct elections.
Uganda Electoral Commission, and I agree with Maina 100%. Part of the problems in Africa, and let's leave Muslims of today, they will go. Where is Idi Amin? Where is Obote? Where is Okero? Where are they? They are God boss. But let's look at the future of this Africa. What does Africa want? Do we really need elections? Maina, I have agreed with you on this one. Does Africa know what elections are? Or we just line up to be? You see the way, look in Kenya. Ruto is saying, I want to be the president 2022. But does he care how many people will perish if there is violence? If you don't make the good rules for that election, does he care? Does Africa need elections? Because the topic was elections and the conflict in Africa and the Central African Republic. Did the Central African Republic need elections? That man, that guy there, who is the president, does he need election? Is a president of stones? Is a president of diamonds? Not a president of people. I am telling you in the name of God. Truth be told, that guy is a president of diamonds. Because the whole of Swav of Central Africa is controlled by rebels.
2/3 of the
Uganda,
country.
the Lord Resistance Army, they are there. And don't ask me too many questions. Because I know they are there. It is not my mandate to bring them. My mandate ended in 2008, once my agreement was signed. They are there. They control territory. So is the president in the Central African Republic controlling stones, diamonds, gold, or controlling people? Do we need elections in Africa? I've been a very bad man. Now, do you need elections in Uganda? Sure. When one man is going to win, he has already counted. Where they printed these ballots, he does. No opposition leader in Uganda knows where the ballots were printed from. The ballots arrived as COVID aid. COVID aid.
Doctor, you're joking.
So, Maina, we speak about this because in 9 days after this vote is cast,
ballots arrived as a COVID aid.
COVID aid
from
yes,
Jack Ma or from who?
I can show you the footage.
You can't tell a joke.
For me, I was always saying this election is just people are going to distraction. It's vacation countries. You know, after 5 years, people want to go and drink and dance. That is what we want to find. But I don't want us to put it wherever. Election in Africa is just, you know, like people are going for vacation, they drink, they dance, and they come back.
And
the leader is still the same. So do we need that?
For example, in Cameroon,
okay,
the leader of opposition who won the election was sentenced very early in the morning at 5 a.m. for life. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a court that sits at 5 a.m.?
A martial court.
A court martial, a military martial, sentenced the leader, the man who had won elections, a leader of opposition, sentenced. Look at that. Is this the African?
In my question, I did not believe in that. I don't know if you agree with me or not. But what I've discovered, why in I'm coming. What I've discovered, why in Africa always someone claim that
you are also
he win election.
Maina,
I'm coming.
Maina, wait first.
Can I explain myself?
Maina, wait.
Can I explain myself?
Can I explain myself? On this one, no. I know what you are.
I have a question.
No, I know what you are.
In Ghana.
No, I know what
Ghana,
you are. You're
someone
not
claimed.
me on that.
In Tanzania, someone claimed.
Maina, you always defend.
In Chad.
Always defend these French cronies. I am not going to allow you to continue to defend.
I'm not talking about French colony. Let's talk about the English one now.
Tanzania.
In Tanzania, it happened.
Of Paul
in Ghana, it happens, right?
Paul Robia. No.
In Ghana, it happened.
When we reach Paul Robia, why is the Chad people in Cameroon? Why is your brother? Why is your brother not talking about it in Cameroon? Why are you killing the people in Cameroon?
Thank you. Let me answer you now. The situation was going through is now yes, we are using our emotion to follow distant people.
Oh, what
where
emotion?
Is Chad? Where is Cameroon?
Doesn't it reach a point where you use emotion? When your brother is the AU chairperson, he is molesting us. He's sitting on us. He does not make a sound alarm about the problems of elections in Uganda.
Last time we tell you exactly the situation. The moment you take the responsibility to an AU to contribute, you can take a decision. You are not contributing anything. It is Western people paying for our fares, for our aircraft, to send this some money to survive. We are just criticizing. 85% of money from AU coming from abroad is not coming from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you?
In 2020, African countries,
African
country in 2020 has contributed only 20% of the AU expenses. The remaining 80% is coming from France, United States, from China, from Japan. They are the one footing the bill.
We know each other for a long time.
They are the one footing the bill. You cannot tell me that
if you allow him
we
to
are not quarreling. We are not quarreling.
The Paul of Biya, he supports those people. When you talk about
I am not supporting in President Paul Biya. I am not in support on any politician. I'm telling you just one thing.
Miriam, let me ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Let me ask Maina a question.
No, before you ask Maina a question, I'd like Jevan to say something. We've not given him an opportunity. Yeah, Jevan, go ahead. I know you've been observing and listening.
Thank you very much, Miriam.
Yes, go ahead.
I was listening to the conversation, and I'm a bit laughing because it's quite heated debate. And Miriam, let me say this, and this is something that I've shared and I don't fear to share my thought of mind and my opinion on this. I usually blame the Africans more because we, the people of Africans, we don't ask for what is right for us. And we keep on blaming the government of the day. And the government of the day, after realizing that we don't know what we want, that is why they divide us among small units. That is why it's difficult, even for the people of Uganda. It's not that they are not powerful to send Museveni home. They can, but Museveni has misused them. He has divided them. He has used money to colonize their mind. They can't think beyond that. That is why it is difficult for these Africans even to make wiser decisions on the ballot. That is why we'll keep on voting and electing the old regimes. We don't go for the new regimes because, Miriam, when you try to bring new idea, the government of the day, it will dismantle the idea, they will crush you, you'll not be heard. And because people are not used to the new ideas, they are used to the old ways, the dictatorship. The people of Uganda have been used to this dictatorship that they have normalized living with it. That is a problem that we have in Africa. These people, they bring bad ways, and to some extent, we start believing that being corrupt, being bad leadership, being dishonest, being a man of bad character, that is what pays. Therefore, these things of normalizing bad behaviors to make them look good, that is what affecting our African countries. And to some extent, we have trusted the political elites to be making all decisions on our behalf, instead of us going out there as in times of colonialism, like the Mau Mau. They went out in the forest to fight the colonizers. They went out there with the pangas and they chased them away so that we have independence that we enjoy today. Instead of doing that, the current generation, me, Douglas, and these people involved, we are not active. We are passive. We are not active in chasing these people out of power. We are not taking the right action. Yes, you are taking action, but the wrong action, because you are taking action based on what has been normalized by these political elites who are misusing us, who are mistreating us. And to some point, Miriam, when you see a police, even in this country, police brutality, we feel something that is good, that Kenya should be beaten up, something that was a mentality that was created by the colonizers. Therefore, we need to shed these old ways, and we bring new ideas. One, by going on the streets, using all the available medium to ensure that the old regimes, the old politicians, the old leaders are chased out of office, so that we bring new people who reflect the will and reflects the future of this generation. But we can't achieve that if we keep on talking and not taking the right action. As Dr. Masanga was saying, he worked hard to ensure that Museveni and the government brings development to the people of Uganda. That is what we want to see. We don't want to see people going out there, but they are not giving us alternative. Like the Bobby Wine is in the street, but what alternative is he giving to the people of Uganda? You can't just chase. Tell them, after chasing Museveni out of power, this is what I want. Because you might chase Museveni as a dictator and you bring a new energetic dictator into possession of power. We need young people and generation that will start bringing new ideas and making them and walking the talk. That is my take on this issue.
Very well said. Thank you so much. Douglas, you had something to say there, but also I think all of the panelists this morning, we talked about and started with Ambassador Maina there, who talked about the conditioning, how Africans were conditioned by the colonizers, and we're still in that conditioning, and we've not been able to liberate ourselves from that, and that is a problem. And that's why we become very complacent, especially with the bad leadership that we have in the continent that has been a source of a lot of our problems here. Douglas, as we conclude. Douglas
seemed to have gone away.
All right, so let's Ambassador come, and then Doctor, you'll conclude for us. Yes, Ambassador, come in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Masanga. Always me and you will agree on something at the end of the day, because we want the better for Africa. We always have to agree. Even when you don't agree with me today, you will agree tomorrow. As always saying, this Central African Republic have a similar problem like any other problem in Africa. It's not new to us. It's the same thing in DRC, the same thing in Chad, in Cameroon, on everything. Now, the fact that how are we going to go about it, as our friend just saying something, is not by fight this generation, these leaders. Fighting has never fixed a problem. We all know that we need to take a simple example of as a family. If two couples are just fighting in order to fix their each other mistake, they will never happen. They will never have peace. But if one of them understand where is the mistake coming from, he will fix it. We Africans have tendency to understand what is our mistake, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to touch this mistake. We don't want to fix it. We don't want to address the issue. For me, leaders in Africa, they have done their best because, Mariam, you cannot offer what you don't have. The only thing you have is what you are offering in the platform, right or wrong. This is what they have. This is the degree of their knowledge, their intelligence, their mind. Is that what they are giving us? Even we judge it good or bad, it's fine, but that is what they have. We don't, maybe someone else can do better than them, we don't know. But first of all, I want to acknowledge they have done their best. Either it's bad or bad. That is the only thing they know what to do and they give it to us. Now, if we find out that we are not satisfied, we think that we are not happy with what they are doing, why not try now to build something better, at least to bring to the platform, to make sure that the Africa become a better place. We are complaining about AU, but we don't have the AU replacement, African Union. We don't have a replacement of AU. There is no an organization than that. So either we recognize the best what they have done in AU now to bring a contribution, to bring some changes. Last time I was in a debate in France, I give just African one simple example. I tell, okay, we all agree that AU is being funded by Western countries. We are almost 700 million in Africa. If each of us can give just $1 a year, we have 700 million. Is enough money to run African Union. We don't need the Western countries, Mariam. And the budget is AU is 600 million every year. So we are 700 million Africa, and we decide that I want to make my continent better by contributing. I give just $1 the whole year. We are giving $700 million to AU, and now we will dictate, listen, guys, this is the way we want our country to be run, our continent. They will listen to us because we become one. But if we are going to France, like me begging Macron to give me some money to go help people in Chad, he will go to tell me where to put the money. That's 100%. Dr. Matsanga don't agree with me, but that is the truth. You know, sometimes it's not any truth, is people have to take it. We can leave it, but that is the reality. Me, I want to ask Dr. Matsanga to help me with his platform, that to convince African people to be part of, to contribute for this continent. Let us do a campaign that in order for us to take our destiny in our hand, we need some of the things to be done by ourselves. Dr. Matsanga, me and you have access to many head of state. We campaign that our population, if we can contribute each of us $1, we can change the course of African Union. And if we change the course of African Union, we will change the course of all the leaders, because they have to listen to us. Because now they know that we are responsible, of course. Because if me and you now are contributing to money in African Union, do you think that you can leave Musa Faki for one day? Dr. I know you will jump in the plane and kick him out, Dr. Matsanga. But now you cannot.
I am just waiting.
You are not going to wait. After the next 4 years, he will be there, as long as France is paying the money.
I am going to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia now has become a center of neo-colonial axis of Dr. Akombe has arrived in Addis Ababa. You know, there are so many forces to fight now. You know.
Why are we fighting them instead of now bring a new strategy, Dr. Matsanga? I'm giving you a new one, the best one.
To safeguard. No, that one is a very good strategy of $1. But they mark you very soon. If you start that noble, by the time we get $400, they would have assassinated us.
Why? Why are we thinking that? Maybe we can change it.
What happened to Gaddafi? Gaddafi was
this is different issue. We are not going there, because this one there is also no.
What was
700? Let me give you a simple example.
What was 700 million to Gaddafi?
No, let me explain to you one thing.
I want you to
Dr. Matsanga.
I want you to
Dr.
come
Matsanga
from this collection.
I'm going to give you a simple example.
The leaders
I'm giving you a simple example.
One of the leaders who opposed the Gaddafi.
I'm giving you a simple
The
example.
leader
What
who's
make
come
Libya
to our-
rich? What make Libya rich is oil. Who is buying Libyan oil? Is the Western people. So and where is Gaddafi keeping his money? He's keeping the money in the West.
Italians and France.
That's why they said, God bless you, Miriam. You can't fight a big enemy. The only things you can do with your big enemy to be his friend in order to get what
So,
you want.
Ambassador, what
Either
you're
we
saying,
like it or not.
yes, for us to have our leadership the way we want it at the African Union, that as Africans, you're suggesting ways in which we can own, that institution that is very important to this continent by starting by funding it, because when we do fund it, then we'll have a voice. And you're suggesting when you give the example of giving $1 each, Africans across the continent, then we will be able to fund our activities there and the running of AU, so that we'll be able to have the power to speak and speak the change that we want. That is what you're proposing as a way forward. All right, thank you so much.
Let me give you an example, Miriam, the last one. Some of the countries during the COVID-19 has received aid from Western countries like $100 million. Do you think it's money? It's not, right?
The place where you are now is the money.
Yes, do you think it's money?
Where you are with that uniform, they promised people 2 masks. Honestly, 2 masks.
I'm coming now.
And they don't have, I've already located your telephone where you are. I'm very good at
if we African, now if we African.
Where you are. But it's okay. Where you are right now, Ambassador, they promised people 2 masks.
Okay.
And when you go to the villages for campaign, I swear, these people have no mask.
Yeah.
And the money, the huge money, in trillions. It came in trillions, not billions. People have used it to buy houses. People have used
Do we need Western country to give us money?
So you look at you look the mess. I agree with you.
Tanzania has done it for 5 years. They never take any penny from the country, but they have succeeded to do a lot of things. Am I right or wrong?
They have succeeded. Those are your friends. You dine with.
But they have succeeded to do something to tell you that if we want, if there is a will.
If we have the will, yes. Then we can bring the change.
If there is the will, there is a way.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine a country like Tanzania has built rail, airline companies, road with their own money? But why we and other countries, we need money from China? Why we need it from Europe?
Right. That is a food
why
for
we are
thought.
Borrowing?
That is a food for thought. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Doctor, please end it for us.
Thank you.
I wanted Karimi to end, but he's gone.
Yeah,
Thank
he's
you,
gone.
Doctor.
They're both gone. Yes, end it for us, please.
Doctor, go ahead.
Thank you very much, viewers. The topic today was elections under conflict in Central African Republic. As a case study, we took Central African Republic and we compared with other parts of Africa where elections have been held. And in these other parts of Africa, we singled out nations, Tanzania, and other places where elections have, Ghana. We have talked about a number of issues across the continent. But the basic line, the points that we're this discussion today, is the manner of intelligence, to gather intelligence about those who are in Central. What is their aim? Where do they get these diamonds? Do they create jobs by stealing diamonds from Central African Republic? I agree with Maina that no, they create money for their own selves, but not jobs, because they sell these diamonds again to the same neo-colonial masters who are waiting for them. Point number 2, I agree with Maina that there's a mindset, and with Javan, there's African mindset that has never changed. We can't contribute to the AU, but we demand answers from AU. And the same AU is paid by France. So it will do what France wants. Time has come for us to wake up, to make a contribution. Some African countries don't even have, they have not paid arrears for 20 years. You know there's an African country that the AU Secretary General don't want to shame them to tell the leader not to fly to Addis Ababa. There are 2 or 3. But because of being African, you allow them to come. But they have an arrears of 20 years. So South Sudan, for example, could not pay 90 million. I think over 220 million or so dollars. Look, but there is a lot of oil in South Sudan. Where does it go? We have not changed our mindset. We still have a very bad mindset. And until we change that mindset, we shall have these conflicts coming and coming. Another point why we raise this topic is Kenya is a member of the United Nations Security Council today. The Kenyan government needs to listen to some of our presentations. The intelligence systems. What is it that is in Central Africa? What cocktail of disaster is in Central African Republic? If you have the LRA army taking part of, then you have Uganda, then you have Rwanda. Does the Security Council know how to choose who should be taken to Central African Republic? If I were on the Security Council, I would not choose Rwanda to go to Central African Republic, because Rwanda and Uganda are going to begin the guns, because one side is on Bozize and the other side is protection force. Therefore, what have we done? We have opened a field for disaster. It's not protection. I'm telling you, Kagame will order those boys to attack the Ugandan troops, wherever they are. And I'm telling you, Museveni will order troops to attack the government which has part of the LRA rebels. I'm telling you, put your eyes there. You know, that is what is happening. So it will be a proxy war amongst the two nations that have gone into Central African Republic. And we shall lose the protection of Central African Republic. Another point that was raised, the leaders stay in power a long time. Kirimi raised Douglas Kirimi raised the matter. It is very important that we, Maina, you have to agree. We have not, the younger generation has nothing to do today except to go the Bob Wine way. The leaders have money. They have corrupted. They have embedded themselves. They work with international money mafia groups. If you look at the leaders who want to take power like in Kenya, you don't find them working with Maina. You find working with Atiku in Dubai, another international money launderer. You know, so Kirimi cannot work with Atiku, isn't it? Cannot find Atiku. Cannot find an international money launderer, a man who can send $600 million to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, daringly, in boxes packed. Maina, daringly from Nigeria, coming for somebody in this country whom everybody knows, and the people fear to speak, but they go to the toilet to speak about him. You know that very well. Douglas, am I wrong?
No, sir.
Some people go to the toilet to speak about this man. But the money was coming for who? To destabilize Uhuru Kenyatta. To bring 600 million worth of cash in dollars. For what? To destabilize the government. Because the government might not have $600 million in cash. It has in assets and other bonds, but it doesn't have any cash. So let's not hesitate to speak about the ills. And let the leaders in Africa not stick in power. Let us who lead, who have been there before, I and Maina. Maina has been an ambassador. I've been there and seen several governments collapse, over 10 of them. Time has come for you to relinquish the baton to the Kirimis to the Miriams, as women, to stand up and say, no, our children, male have died enough. We shall take the mantle and change this Africa. That is my prayer. But the conflict in Central African Republic is a cocktail of disaster. The UN Security Council must immediately specify, bring a neutral force. Because if you take a force that has got interest in Central African Republic, already the daggers are dug in different directions. Uganda has a stake, the LRA has a stake, Baraka, is it Baraka rebels? Mm-hmm. Anti-Baraka rebels have a stake, Bozizé has a stake, Bemba has a stake, and then Rwanda comes in, the Rwanda has closed the border. Do you know that the border for almost coming to 2 years, some of us who have been doing business in Rwanda have been deprived for coming to 2 years. The Rwandese has to fly from Kigali to Nairobi in order to go to Uganda. If we cannot sort out these small problems of a border between Chad and Central Africa, how on earth shall Africa rise and shine again? How? I submit that elections in Africa create conflicts, and therefore let's be careful. And do we really need elections? I agree, therefore, that our mindset must change and start questioning why we collect diamonds from Central Africa, but we have no factory for diamonds in Kampala. I rest my case.
Thank you so much. And that is where we end our show for today. Thank you, Dr. David Matsanga. It was nice having you on the show. Thank you, Ambassador Ghana Maina. Thank you, Akidi Mwaga. He left a bit early there. Thank you, Jevan Karanja. And also thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi, all the way from Meru. They're speaking on behalf of the Mount Kenya region they're representing. My name is Miriam Goto. Thank you for watching. A very good afternoon to you.
Thank you.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.